a person that loves to help people. It just so happens that I get a chance to help creatives and artists in many different ways. And so I really believe in number one, doing good business. I was just brought up to do good business with people, be authentic with people, not try to, get over on creatives and artists. And so that's really big for me.
Happy Halloween, everyone. I am the host for today. My name is Leisha, and our guest for today will be Jordan Ryan Bailey, who wears many hats professionally, including being the founder of the Golden Community, which is a marketing agency. Hi, Jordan. Would you like to say a little bit about yourself and tell us how you're doing today?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm doing pretty good, a little under the weather, but I'm hanging in there, But yeah, that is correct. I am the founder and managing director of Golden Community. We're doing some really dope things. We are a hybrid between more of a marketing and promotion company. We also are in the live experience and concert space, and we also are in the creative music space as well. So yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. And our co-host for today will be Marco. Marco, can you say a little bit about yourself and tell us how you're doing today as well?
Well, my name is Marco. I'm an intern here in DIMS and I'm in event management. And I'm really excited to be here. Let's see how this goes. Okay, so Jordan, I would try to start with one specific question.
Yeah.
What do you feel is your current impact on the world?
My current impact on the world.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great first question. So first and foremost, I would say my impact on the world. First and foremost, I'm a person that loves to help people. It just so happens that I get a chance to help creatives and artists in many different ways. And so I really believe in number one, doing good business. I was just brought up to do good business with people, be authentic with people, not try to, get over on creatives and artists. And so that's really big for me. But then number two, I'm really big on education, right? Like really helping artists and creatives like learn more about who they are and really where they're going as well. And so I would say my impact on the world are those two things. And just as a person, always looking to do good business, always looking to expand my business. I really want to become one of the I guess more successful music executives in the game. And so I hope to really, be known for that, after my time has passed, as a successful music executive who helped other people along the way.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, you you leave your path in history, so yeah, it takes a lot of effort, but you're on good tracks, man.
Thank you.
So, what was your path after high school like? As far as like out of school, did you like? So, what did you do to get into the career path that you're in now?
Yeah. So after high school, I actually went to college. I went to Howard University here in DC. And so, interesting story about that. I was kind of on the fence about going to Howard. I also got accepted in the Temple University in Philly, where I'm from. And so my mom was the one who was like, you need to get out of Philly, go to Howard. It's going to be a different cultural experience for you. And that was one of the best choices I made thus far in my life. So ended up going to Howard. At Howard, I mean, the first week I was at Howard, there were like a lot of opportunities in entertainment and music. And so, I mean, I dove right in. I dove right in. I was very aggressive and I laid out my intentions, I think, very well. And while at Howard, I just continued to take advantage of the music opportunities. I started with events, moved on to concerts and festivals, and just began to really make a name for myself in DC. and the DMV as a whole. And so that was kind of like the beginning stage of my life right after high school, really figuring out who I was, figuring out what I liked, what I didn't like. I think that's one of the more important things is like understanding what you're passionate about, what you're not, and then starting to take those steps towards figuring out, okay, this is what I want to do with my career. This is where I see myself, the journey that I see myself going down throughout my life, right? So that was like the beginning of, like, I guess, my journey after high school.
Yeah, that's good. You took your time to make that transition and self-discovery. And regarding that, how do you exactly get into your current career? I mean, you get this experience with the music and these transitions between states, but how do you manage to get into your current career?
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting question because so I always like to credit Howard, because just because, like, Howard, the culture there, and the competition as well amongst the students really did a good job of just transforming me into a professional. It was very, very, very competitive, and so I continued to take on opportunities, take on internships. I started with an internship actually at a real estate firm, doing social media marketing, and then I actually started matriculating over into PR. Right, so I got involved with PR, learned the ins and out of PR. Intern for Weaver Shanwick, Powell Tate, then intern for Ally Integrated Marketing, intern for Fleshman Hillard. So a lot of the a lot of the bigger, well-known PR firms around the world. I've got my feet wet, and then I really started to understand that I like PR, I understand it, but really what I'm best at is working directly with artists, whether that be marketing, promotion, events, concerts, festivals, really just working side by side with artists, putting them on stage in front of fans. Um, and then, yeah, so I graduated Howard in 2015. And at the time I was actually working for the district of, let me say this right, the council of the District of Columbia, which is, here in DC, local government. I was working with uh, the Ward 4 council member, also working within the mayor's office as well. And then I was just like, you know what, this is not like how I wanted my life to go after I graduated. I had very, very high ambitions, like music and entertainment. So I had to just be honest with myself and take a chance. And so I left that job. I actually took an opportunity with my uncle Bernard Parker, who is, a pretty well-known producer and businessman of music. He came to me with an opportunity to co-manage one of his artists, and so that opportunity was actually between LA and the East Coast. And so I took that opportunity, and that is the opportunity that really jump started my experience in the music industry. So from a very early level, I got an opportunity to work on a number one record at the time. The artist I was working with, his name is Jordan Banks, and so the record is called "Keep You in Mind." So was working that record, working with Jordan. Really got a good experience of not only working with him, but working with some records that he did with Meek Mill, and a record that he actually did with Chris Brown as well. Did some marketing things there, did some management things, and also some tour experience as well. We were blessed enough to go on tour with Fantasia. That was 2016, I believe, in the fall. And so that experience really kicked off my I guess I would say my music industry career fully after college. I really hit the ground running, and continued to work with Jordan for about another year, year and a half. And so Was still moving coast to coast. And I took a lot of those relationships and actually, thought about it and just decided to start my own company. And so the experience with working with the music, with working with the number one record, um, working with some of the artists that he was working with, like Meek Mill, Chris Brown, going on tour. I took all that experience and I said, you know what, I really want to start out and start off and just kind of start my own company and take a chance and see how it goes. And I'm happy I did because I think the hardest part is a lot of the times starting, right? Like we get kind of like this like analysis paralysis where we're like looking at situations and we kind of get paralyzed with fear sometimes about charting our own path, right? And so I took that risk, I took that chance, and at first it was hard. It wasn't like all sunshine and rainbows at first, but it was hard. I had to go through some growing pains, but that was in 2017, and so took that chance and then started my own company. And you know, fast forward now, we're still here. We're still here 5 years later.
Yeah, taking the chance, take a lot of courage, but well, look at you now.
Right. It sounds like you had a plan from when you were in college. Like it sounded like you had it all figured out. And actually, like the name of our show is Have a Map because I really feel like that speaks to a lot of people like around my age or like either going to college or just starting to get into their career because most of us don't really know where we're going, what we want to do, how we're going to get there, that type of thing. Like I'm in college right now, but I'm actually about to graduate next year, but this is only my second year. I did a dual enrollment program, so it's like all of my friends feel like they have so much time to like get into their careers and get experience and do all of that, and I feel like I have no time. So it's like I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get into my career. So I feel like just like, hearing like your plan and how you got there is very inspiring.
Yeah, thank you. And so it's funny you say that because I think the biggest misconception we have about time is that it's running out, right? Like I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions we have is that like time is running out. And I mean time is time is relative, right? It's like um our mind likes to play the trick on us and to kind of like trick us into think it's running out. But trust me when I say this, you have more than enough time. Um and although time is important, right? You want to make sure you use it like in the best way. Um, if you're in college, you have more than enough time to figure it out. And college is really the prerequisite to real life. You know, a lot of people think that like, oh, I gotta figure this out by the time I graduate because this is it right here. And I'm just here to tell you that it's not true. Once you graduate from college, like that is like when the real life begins to a certain level. So one of the best things I did in college is really, like I said, like taking the time to like figure out what I'm passionate about, and also taking the time to take on internships and learn what I dislike versus what I like, right? um, and so you really have to, it's really important to take that time though, because what you do, like one of the worst things you can do is like graduate and then you're like, oh well, let me go try this out, right? Let me go try this out now. And it's like it's so easy to get stuck in a career or stuck in a job that you're really not passionate about. A job that just feels like I struggle to get up and go to every day. And so like coming out of college, like that was kind of me. I knew like the field that I wanted to get into. Then also it was kind of like that that idea and kind of looking around at all my friends like, oh, okay, let me take a job right now, just to, you know, make sure I can like, do the basic, basic necessities in life, like, have somewhere to live, have some food, things like that. But always in the back of my mind though, like I knew like, okay, like I'm only going to do this um, for a short amount of time, and I'm going to be working towards like the field that I really want to be in. And so nothing wrong with that either, but yeah, use these years of college like as a prerequisite, right? To like figure out like where you really want to be. That's what I would say.
Yeah, give you fullest in college to know different things.
Yeah.
Okay, regarding that time thing that you said, um, did you always knew what to do or what were you doing? Putting it specifically, did you have a short or long term plan?
No, 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 I didn't. I didn't have like a short term or long term plan. I mean, when what I did have though is I did have great mentors who told me very early in college, like, hey, you know, whatever you write down will manifest and come to life, right? So, write down your goals, like, and where you see yourself and where you want to be. And I always took that very serious because I'm also, I started as a writer, as a songwriter, very, very young in my life. So I've always been very interested in writing. So I took that serious because I was like, okay, um, like, yeah, that makes sense. Like to write something down, to look at it from week to week, just so you make sure you stay on track. And so the things, I mean, I still remember some of the earliest things I wrote down. I wrote down that I want to be, one of the biggest music executives in the industry. I wrote down that I want to own one of the biggest entertainment agencies on the East Coast. I wrote down like, I want to write for artists. I want to manage artists. I want to, travel the country doing the work that I do. And, that was very early. I mean, when I was like around 21 years old. And so a lot of those things have started to manifest. Um, and it may be because of the hard work and maybe because of the relationships and network that I've built. But I think a large part of it is also because I was training my mind, to kind of like follow or like chart a journey for myself from very early on. And again, like none of these things came without like struggle or without making mistakes or without failing. I'm really big on also telling people that you have to fail in order to succeed. Like I've never met anybody in my life who just jumped out the bed, started a business, and had success. You know, more, 9 times out of 10, everybody who I've met or worked with, and I mean artists at the highest levels, music executives at the highest levels. Like they've all, went through hardships. They've all made mistakes. They've all failed to a certain extent. And so I'm very honest when speaking to people to let people know I went through that too. I failed before, I took risk and the risk didn't pan out. But very early on, I always had a vision for where I wanted to go. And so, you know, now I'm doing better. I'm doing better. There used to be a time in my life where I would, wonder if, any artist would want to work with me, right? Uh, you know, let alone some of the biggest artists in the world, but just any artist. And so, I'm very humbled and just grateful now to like look at the list of artists who we've been able to work with. But that's all just a testament to the vision that I wrote down very early.
Yeah, I mean, when we start, we all have our doubts. And as you said, we all have to go through trial and error. So, regarding this part, what did you do when things may not have gone according to your plan you made for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the biggest thing I did was have faith. You know, the biggest thing I did in my life was, have faith and just trusting God that, even though it's dark right now, I can't, I don't want to quit. Like, I've never been a person to just quit. And so, um, having that faith in God and having the faith that, He has me here for a reason, He has me here to learn a specific skill set. I might not be, I might not, have all the money that I want right now, but what am I learning from the situation? Or I might have lost a client, but what did I learn from that experience and losing that client? And so I'm really, centered, and I'm really big on faith. And so for me, and although I also understand that everybody may not have, may not follow, follow a specific religion or be spiritual. And I understand that as well. But, personally, that was the thing that kept me afloat. Just trusting, right? Trusting in something I couldn't see yet. Trusting in my vision and trusting in where God had me, even though I didn't have, the money, or I didn't have the clients, I didn't have, the business deals just yet. I didn't have all the concerts that I set out to route just yet. I still had that faith. I still had that foundation, and that was what was, kept me solid, and it didn't allow me to like break when things were dark and things weren't going the way that I wanted them to, right? So yeah, that was really it for me. I mean, it was God. I always make sure I give the glory to Him. His word, who He is. It really held me afloat when things weren't going the right way.
Yeah, having faith, you will be in yourself or in a superior being always help, really help.
Yeah.
So would you say that having faith was something that keep you going when you feel like giving up?
Yeah, yeah. Every day, every day. And even while in college as well, right? So I want to go back to 2010 when I first got to Howard. I come from a very humble family, really didn't like have all the resources I needed, or um, all of those things that like everybody else had, coming into college, right? Like, I remember getting to Howard and having like $40 to my name to last me for the month, right? Um, cell phone broken, had to communicate through email and speak to my family through email. And I remember all of those things very well, right? Like, I keep those experiences with me. And so, even during those times where I was like a freshman at Howard, um, I still had faith, right? I might not have been as disciplined as I should have been, but I still had faith. I still prayed, and I still always had like a vision of like, okay, like, even though um, it's bad right now, I just feel like better is coming. You know what I mean? Like, I always had like that like energy to me where, no matter what, I was like, I feel like better is coming. I feel like I can rise, right? Like, I feel like I can build on this. And so, that's been my spirit for a long time, man. It's been my spirit for a long time. I've never been a person to just quit, or, you know, just take my loss and be like, oh, this is a loss and I'm taking it. I've always been a person who was like, okay, I'm going to build on this. I want to do better. I want to win. At the end of the day, I want to win. So, I might have, $40 in my pocket for the rest of my month, but for the rest of the month. But guess what? I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go hustle. And I might throw some events or throw a party or a concert to make some extra money on the side, but I'm getting up and I'm going to hustle. And so that was really all that's really always been like my mindset is not like laying down, like really getting up to go get it.
I like how you have been talking about like having that mindset, because I feel like that's very important, especially like when you're going on your own path or starting your own business, is having like a mindset of not giving up, or having a mindset of like, no matter what goes wrong, I'm still gonna get up and like hustle. I'm still gonna get up and make sure I'm good, or I'm still gonna get up and like progress my business or progress my career. So I feel like that's very important. So since we're talking about how much you progressed and how like faith has kept you going, as well as like the mindset that you have, thinking back to like when you first started at Howard, or maybe even when you were first starting in your career and so unsure of what you wanted to do, is there like a piece of advice that you would like to like give yourself, your younger self?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So it's interesting you say that. I think the biggest, I think one of the biggest pieces of advice that I would give my younger self is to like really utilize and take advantage of your time. Like um, I used to think about time like similar to like what you were saying, that like time will run out, or I have this certain amount of time like to do this thing, right? And like the more like mature I get, like I really think about my wins and losses in terms of moments, right? Um, I used to think about it in terms of like years, like, oh, okay, my freshman year, I want to achieve this. Sophomore year, junior year, senior year, I want to achieve these things. But really, like wins and losses, right? Like wins and losses are just, experiences that happen moment to moment, second to second. Like, and I mean, from like the moment you wake up to the moment when you wake up and you decide like how your mind and how your body feels about today, right? To like to you actually, getting to your first class, getting to your second class, getting throughout the day, right? It's all connected. And I would say really like take advantage of each and every moment. Right. One thing I've been doing recently is just training myself to think the highest thought about every situation, right? So when I wake up in the morning, like I like read my scripture and then I go into like affirmations, because I'm training myself, right? Like right around like 7, 8 in the morning, I'm training myself to think like, okay, no matter what happens, at 9 a.m., no matter what happens at 3 p.m., um, I want to utilize my time in the best way. I want to take advantage of the opportunity. And this is an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to win, right? So I've really been really big on like looking at moments and like really understanding like how a negative mindset is the opportunity for the enemy to create a losing situation in your life, right? You may have a moment of doubt, um, that turns into 5 minutes, that turns into an hour, that turns into you doubting yourself and you not being able to get any work done for the entire day. And so it's really important to like monitor those moments, because those moments are like little seeds, you know what I'm saying? Like they starts little, but then it becomes, oh, like, you didn't accomplish the goal for the day. Oh, you didn't accomplish the goal for the week. Now for the entire month of October, you've been kind of self-doubting yourself. And instead of accomplishing the 50 goals you had set out, you might not accomplish 10 of the goals because of that self-doubt. And it all started from like that little seed, you know what I'm saying? And so that's one of the, I would tell myself that is like really, really pay attention to moments like where you have that self-doubt, you have that fear. And whatever the enemy says you can't do, you turn around and say, I can do it, right? In those moments. And it can be anything. It can be you taking a test. It could be you applying for the internship that you want, right? Like any moment where the enemy is like, oh, you can't get that internship. You turn around and in your mind said to yourself, I can get that internship. You know, if the enemy is like, you're not gonna pass that test, you turn around to yourself and say, I can pass that test, right? And you'll be amazed at like the muscle memory that you start creating, and then after you start affirming yourself, the steps that follow after that, because you're like fighting back against that negativity, right? And then you're moving forward with that positive energy, taking those positive steps towards accomplishing your goals. And so, now I know that, but back then I used to be like going through slumps of like, months at a time, right? Where like self-doubt would just kind of have me like in a slump, right? And I get it. We all go through that, but yeah, I would tell my younger self, just that actually.
I really like how you talked about affirmations, because I'm starting to get into affirmations as well, because I've been having like a lot of self-doubt, just as far as not even just my career, but just in general. And it's kind of been helping me to just kind of like instill like positivity. Especially, I feel like I'm good at thinking optimistically when like things go wrong in my life or something like that. But as far as like thinking of myself, I feel like I'm way more judgmental on myself. So like saying those affirmations and like speaking positivity onto me, I feel like that's been helping me a lot. So I'm glad to hear that that's something you do as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what does like a work day look like for you?
These days is crazy. Um, so I actually use like what is it called actually? It's like, what I call it, like productivity app. So I use a productivity app, and excuse me, I try to plan out my weeks like in advance, and each day essentially like in my productivity app, it may be like 10 tasks I have to complete for the day, 15 tasks I have to complete for the day. And so, to be honest, like it's very calculated, right? Because you know I kind of break it down week by week, and like client by client. So I'm working with so many clients. Like I'm working with right now 25 to 30 clients, right? And so each project requires something different, but day to day, I have to move those projects forward. So I'll have like some smaller tasks, right? Some bigger tasks. I'll have phone calls. I'll have meetings. Some days I even have events that I need to get to, events I need to produce, events I need to just be on site for. And so it's a mix of everything. But my productivity app allows me to say like, oh, I have 10 tasks today. I have 15 tasks tomorrow. At the end of the day, if I didn't complete all of those tasks, I kind of just roll them over, and then start over again. And so what that's doing for me is allowing me to like hit in that range of like 60, 70, like 80 tasks per week that I'm getting accomplished, if that makes sense. And those are a mix of things. I mean, some of those are like marketing and promotion campaigns. Some of them are, setting up for events, working events, setting up for concerts, going to book concerts, negotiating with talent buyers, negotiating with music venues, um, also including, you know, music sessions as well as studio sessions, in the studio, out of the studio, um, on the creative side, like really developing the music, getting edits in from engineers, getting the first versions of records in from music artists, songwriters, right, producers, sending revisions back on those records. And so, yes, I mean, it's a lot. Like it's a lot, but I'm grateful for it. Um, but yes, I mean, it's a mix of things. It's a plethora. I mean, each week is different, really. And so the productivity app, like I'm really big on that. It allows me to just stay on track and just keep all of the moving parts in front of me.
It sounds like the productivity app like helps keep you like kind of motivated, it sounds like, and organized, so that's good. But when you have so much on your plate, I feel like it's important to also make sure like that you're taking care of yourself and doing things to kind of like give you a break from like those work days. So like how do you take care of yourself? Like, do you have any like days that you just do nothing, or have any like self-care things that you may do like throughout the day or at the end of a long day or something like that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so a couple self-care things for me. So for me, like, it's to begin the day is music, really. Like, I love music. Um, I really like am in love with music. I've always been in love with music though. And so for me, like, to start the day, I always listen to like at least 15 minutes of gospel music. And to me, like, that's like a self-care thing, because before I get to like the rap and hip hop and the R&B, sometimes even the R&B, I'm like, listen, I gotta get my head straight. I gotta get my head straight and just have like a good, like, positive reinforced message, right? To start my day. So I'm also really big on fitness too. I mean, I work out probably like maybe 4 to 5 times a week. And so that's a really good self-care thing for me, because I realize that like working out gives me that energy I need. If I don't work out, I'll feel myself getting a little like sluggish a little bit. So that's really for like my energy level, you know. And then food, like, I love food. Like, I mean, I can eat like you know 4 or 5 times a day, really. But love food. I mean, for me, like, that's definitely self care as well. So me and my fiance, like, we go out a lot. We'll grab a drink like here and there. Go out to like a nice restaurant. Go out to grab some food, and yeah. So I mean, that's a couple of the things. Couple of the things like that really helps me out throughout the week. And also I take walks too. You know, take walks. Now it's getting a little cold, but um, I usually try to get outside and just like walk around the neighborhood as well. So
Wow, I mean, that's a lot of things to do. I mean, you have your work, you have your self care, but doing all this stuff, how do you avoid burnout?
yeah, so yeah, and that's a good question, because burnout is definitely real. Um, you know, I don't know. I think that I used to. So up until about 2019, I used to just work, work, work. I mean, I used to work until like sometimes like 10 p.m., 11 p.m. at night. And I think a large reason was because I was trying to really like kick off my company in the right way and like go out and like get the like level of clients that I wanted. But my fiance was like, okay, Jordan, that's enough. Like, you can't keep doing this, because I was burning myself out to the level where like I was just having so much anxiety, right? Like, I was having so much anxiety, like I was tired. Um, it was just a mess. So what I started doing is like realizing like, okay, um, I'm gonna trying to stop my day every day at 7 p.m. Right? And if I give myself like a stop time, then like naturally I'll become more productive, because I'm like maximizing like the daytime hours, right? So I'm maximizing like those normal business hours to make sure like, I'm finished by 7 p.m. Like, I can like kind of decompress, like, put the work to the side for the day, maybe watch a TV show, right? Watch Netflix, Hulu, something like that, right? And then get a good rest in, and then get ready for the next day. And so, like, me implementing that stop time was actually one of the best things I've done, because I mean, I would work till like 11 p.m., like midnight sometimes, right? Sometimes even further into the night than that, really, like 1 p.m. I mean, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. And so, yeah, so I implemented that. I mean, I recommend that for everybody, really, because it's just not natural for us to like work ourselves to a level where the work is outdoing the rest. And so it's not natural. Like your body will actually start to reject it. And for health, it's like specifically for health reasons, like it's just not, the best method.
I most definitely really like how you talked about having like an end time to your day. I never really thought about that before, but that makes so much sense because like sometimes you can like have so much work and it's like, well, I need to get this done today. So I'm gonna stay up however late it takes, or I'm gonna do it until I just fall asleep or something like that. So I feel like having an end time most definitely is really healthy and gives you time to like come down from your day instead of like working yourself in, right up until you go to sleep.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like everything that you said was like super informational. Like I really liked everything that we talked about. I feel like some of the biggest takeaways that I'll probably take from this conversation is um kind of sort of not like rushing into your career. I really like how you talked about like you were really active in college, but at the same time you knew that you like had some time to get into what you wanted to do, and then you also weren't scared to like change up what you were doing. Like you didn't feel like you were stuck in your career. Once you like wanted to do something different, you changed like what you were doing and where you were going and how like your career path was set up. And I really like that. And I also really like how you talked about like how faith and like your optimistic mindset or like having a mindset that you're gonna win no matter what has like helped you like propel. Um and I also like all the self-care things that you talked about. Honestly, like you had so much like good things that you do throughout your day or like multiple times throughout the week that like help you just decompress from all of the work that you do because you have so much different stuff and so many different clients. So I really like that. Do you have any takeaways, Marco?
I will have to say that I'm really inspired with you, man. I mean, nobody usually takes in mind to be able to overcome his own walls, but you did it, and it's really hard. Take the risk is something that usually is not taken no more nowadays, but you are the proof that is doable. So yeah, I will stay with that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do.
And I also find it really inspiring that like you started like your own marketing agency. Like that's super cool. Like a lot of people wouldn't even think to do something like that or like would have so much self-doubt that it's like, oh, I can't do it. I might as well just work for this marketing agency or do this. And like you started your own marketing agency and it's pretty successful. Like that's great.
Yeah, thank you. And I mean, and also, also, I did a lot of research as well. I don't want to leave y'all with thinking like I just, was like started it and was like, we out here. I did a lot of research. I had a lot of great mentors as well, still do, who gave their guidance, gave their insight. Some of the same things that I'm sharing with you both. Got that insight. Another great insight, two insights I want to give actually, is that like when you're a student, um, take advantage of LinkedIn, take advantage of the networking sites. When like mapping out like what you want to like the field that you want to get into, because while you're a student, like people will more likely feel um, enthusiastic to help you, right? So now is the time like you want to reach out to people on LinkedIn, you want to reach out to people on Facebook. The networking groups on Facebook are really awesome as well. But yeah, like I would say like, once you start to figure out like, okay, I want to be in this field, start the research on LinkedIn, reach out to those people because I would say 8 times out of 10, they'll probably help you because they're what they're doing is like looking at you as a student and kind of like thinking about it like, oh, I once was like in that position where you were, like of course I'll help you, right? And so that's the first thing, like definitely, get into like that habit of like reaching out and networking in those ways. And the second thing too is really like once you start to, network, whether it's like online or like you're at events, you start to network with these people, and you have their contact information. Create like an Excel document so you can keep track of it, right? So, you know, simple like Excel document like name, first and last, phone number, email, and the company that they work at or who they represent, right? Because that will allow you to essentially like stay organized. So you don't feel like, oh, my efforts are just being wasted. You're networking with a purpose to like start to create like a database of like, people who you've spoken to, people who gave you insight, um, and people who may have, who may have work that, you can help on, right? Like one day. So yeah, those are two things I would definitely say. Like, um, start to get into the practice of, implementing those two things, and those two things will really help you. Seriously.
I most definitely will do the Excel document. That's a great idea so that I won't lose those contacts. Because I feel like I've already lost a few contacts that I had, like in high school or like last year that I just didn't really keep up with well. So that's a great idea. um, so do you have like any social media or any websites or anything just so whoever's like watching this could keep up with you or contact you?
Yeah. So my social media is my first name, Jordan, Jordan, Ryan, my middle name, Ryan, and then my last name, Bailey, Bailey. And our website is actually begolden.live. So that's BEGOLDEN .live, LIVE. And so if you go on our website, you'll see like a lot of the cool things we're doing. So a lot of cool artists we work with, kind of what we're about as a company, and you'll also see like a little bit about me on there as well. So yeah, I mean, that's our website. That's my social media. My social media is pretty much the same on all platforms. So just Jordan Ryan Bailey.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us. Thank you for being one of our wonderful guests. And we will have more wonderful guests on all of our upcoming episodes. So make sure to tune in to our upcoming episodes.